Today's guest is a former convict, gang member, drug addict who at an early age experienced the loss of his father. It led him to alcoholism and over a decade in prison. He now uses his experiences to guide others to sobriety, rehabilitation, and employment. I was thrilled to sit down with Mr. Brandon Crozier.
Car 36 responding.
I'm dusting these fools. My car is starting to run fucked up.
Officers are on scene.
I've got cops everywhere. I've got a helicopter over the top of me. I was actually sentenced to 20, stacked on 20, stacked on 20, stacked on 3.
You've been in prison how long at this point?
I've already done 14. And I'm looking at my lawyer like, this is not what we talked about.
Well, Brandon Crozier, I've been waiting on this.
Awesome.
So welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, brother.
I want to say something, man. It's hard for me not to get emotional right up front with you because I can relate to you in a lot of ways. Your story is one of the biggest comebacks I've ever heard of and ever seen. And I love comebacks. I live for comebacks. And whenever I named this podcast, I was going to call it Comeback, something Comebacks. But you may or may not know, but the reason it's called Dying to Live is because that's what was spray painted on my wall whenever the task force kicked in my door, August 8th of 2002. And I was at a rock bottom moment. I was out of dope, and I knew I was going to my third rehab soon. And this date right here was actually given to me by my friend Jody, who was the girlfriend of Chad Sweden, who was my best friend that took his wife's life and took his own life, April 23rd of 1995. And that was whenever I decided several months ago that April 23rd was 30 years. And so that's the day that I launched this podcast with Matt Matera, who's lost 5 family members to suicide. And I want to dig into your story today. You're going to be doing most of the talking. I just want to hear you, and I want people to hear you, and I want people to know that there's hope.
Nice.
And I can't wait to dig in. And where I'd like to start is, I'd like to just start with where you come from. Tell me about you, your family.
I come from Alice, Texas, little town
Okay.
south of San Antonio, about 2 hours. And I'd say, what would that be, west of Corpus Christi.
Okay.
Grew up, the whole family in the oil field. Mom's a real estate agent. Dad's working for Harkins at the time. My grandfather's vice president of Harkins. This dad's climbing the ladder on his way up. Gets moved out of the field to the office. Great life. Like, weren't extremely rich. We weren't poor. We were a happy middle class family. You know, when I came around, of course, over the years, I got more prosperous. Everybody did better. Just what I was expected to do was go to the oil field. And I remember my dad telling me before he died, I think I was like 11 years old, he said, you can do anything in life except the oil field.
Okay.
He said, you can do anything in life except the oil field. He said it was too dangerous, too much stupid going around there, and he just wanted a better life for us, you know. So I had all kinds of plans, man, growing up. Dentist, doctor, whole 9 yards, whatever you could think of. I was pretty good in school. I was actually really good in school until, just like you have those impact dates. August 12th of 95, coming up on 30 years, my dad's been dead. We'd worked emus all day, taking my dad's mom out to eat. But just thinking back to the beginning of the day, there were a couple of things that happened that to me were signs. Kind of little incident out in the field with the emus. My dad and stuff could have been hurt really bad. We stopped for lunch. We're sitting down, and I'm sitting on the four-wheeler in the garage. And my dad's sitting on, I think, a bucket of ice chest or something like that. And he looks to the right, and sitting on the four-wheeler is just a 12 gauge pointed right at his head. And he's like, this is a horrible place to be sitting. And he got up and moved, and we finished working the emus, and it was my dad's mom's birthday, my grandmother, and King's Inn restaurant in Rivera, her favorite place to eat. So after everybody's done with that for the day, we pack everything up. Everybody gets cleaned up. We all meet in Rivera. I ride with my aunt, my uncle, my grandma, my nephew, not my nephew, my two cousins, Trent and Morgan. And we head off there. And then in the other cars, my grandfather, brother, mom, and my dad. We go there. We coming back. Ultimately, the car wreck. Drunk driver hit my mom, dad, brother, grandfather. About 75, 80 miles an hour. 1-ton F350 head on. There in a Crown Victorian.
Your family was in the Crown Vic?
Yeah. I was in the Suburban with my aunt, the car behind them. So we're coming around. It's right there at the Warner Ranch. I don't know if you're familiar with down there.
I'm not. Keep going.
It's familiar with the Warner Ranch. You come around. It's called Dead Man's Curve. It's notorious for accidents. And we come around this way, and then we're going to cut back this way. And we come around. We see their car, and there's a little tree, and then the next break, head-on collision already happened. So, but we're the first ones on the scene. You know, ultimate first thought, brother's dead. You can see his whole skull. You can see all of that. Aunt, uncle, everybody trying to keep me in the car. I'm not having it. Grandma's in the car. She's trying to stay with all of us. Super religious, praying the whole time. I'm worried about my brother because from where I'm at, I'm from here, maybe 15 feet away, and I can see my brother filleted from here all the way back to here, his whole scalp ripped back. And I can see that, but I see my dad laying next to my brother, and I see his chest go up and down, up and down. My mom's still stuck in the car, but my uncle's up there talking to her. Excuse me. So it's just like, I guess as a young person, you're attached to your brother. That's your sibling. So I'm freaking out over my brother the whole time. Like, freaking out, like crying, screaming, like, let me check on him. And I didn't know till later, but I see my dad start shaking really bad. And I found out years later that's called a death rattle. That's when all your organs and your body start shutting down, and it's still trying to fight for life. And everything's doing what it can to stay alive. My brother was sitting in the front seat. They were in such a turn to where my grandpa couldn't pull. My brother had no seatbelt on. He had this bottom part but no top seatbelt. They seen it coming. My dad jumped forward, tries to grab him to hold him back. Ends up hitting the window, snaps his neck, broke his back. They said his kind of legs accordioned over and knocked out all of his front teeth when he hit the dash. So I think I even said it in the 1090 podcast that kind of like he had a father instinct, save your kids. So it's like there's a bit of like my dad was a badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I remember always him saying there's nothing that he wouldn't do for his kids. And he did. I mean, we had the dirt bikes. We had everything. We had everything growing up. Fishing trips. One weekend was my brother. One weekend was me. The next weekend was both of us. You know what I mean? And he always made sure that he had time for each one of us, but he also had time for us together. Yeah. To teach us stuff. Taught us, hell, I think by the time I was 10 years old, I was driving standard. You know what I mean? Just out at the ranch, teaching us how to drive, teaching us what to do. All of that stuff. It's I look at it in pivotal moments in your life. That's probably one of the most molding moments in my life.
Yeah.
For growing up and accepting. And I can't even say accepting because I didn't accept this 2 years later. The fact that my father wasn't around. Father was a beast in sports. I mean, I don't know how good he was, but he played in Goliad. I don't know what the competition was there, but he prevailed. And what he did, he didn't earn his title off of my grandfather's name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My grandfather has wells in Cuero and Seguin and all that stuff. They're the Gene Crozier wells, like 1 through 30 or 40 something. And my grandfather realistically was a legend in the oil field. He's in the Pioneers of the Oil Field book.
Okay.
They took the first drilling rig to Haiti. They got production started in Haiti. Him, Mr. Harkins, and Mr. Flournoy put everything they had up through a rig on a barge and shipped it to Haiti and went and produced oil over there. Yeah. Came back, helped with the founding of El Paso production. I mean, that's just, I came up from a blue collar working family that made their way in life. And it's all of a sudden everything's shut down. You know, dad's kind of the strong front of the family, even with the grandpa and everything. Like, that's who they call to come fix the problems out at the ranch. Like,
And he was how old when he died?
39.
Okay.
39. I never thought I'd make it to see 39. I just turned 42. That's a blessing in itself. So, wreck happens. I'm at the house. Then I get moved over to my aunt's house. They lived a block away from us. So I move over to my aunt's house. My uncle's mom, Diana Schultz, is with me. Her husband had just died about a year and a half prior in a car accident. Somebody had clipped his back end flying down a country road, spun him out into a field. They kept going. He ended up dying out there in there bleeding out. And I still didn't know who she was talking about when she said this, but I knew the wreck was bad. And I'm 12 years old. This is the day before my 7th grade year.
Yeah.
This is, I've been waiting. We're going to play football. We're going to do all that stuff. You know what I mean? Dad's going to be there. I'm going to get to do what he did. And it just, I stayed out of school for like 4 days, but I pretty much went back. I wasn't comfortable sitting at home alone. And I think I said this before too. I was tired of everybody. I'm so sorry. It's going to be okay. And I'm like, fuck you. I mean, how do you know it's going to be okay? My mom's in the hospital. My brother's in the hospital. By this time, I know it's my dad that's dead. But Diana had told me, she said, God wouldn't take good, if God didn't take good people, he wouldn't have anybody in heaven. So right away, I'm like, damn, my brother is dead, is what I'm thinking to myself. I'm like, kind of a hard pill to swallow. And the next day, I find out that it's my dad. My aunt and everybody finally come from the hospitals. Everybody's around, and they tell me your father passed away. I'm like, all right, you know, I'm 12 years old. What do you say? You ain't got mom to comfort you. You don't. You really honestly feel like at that point you have absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So, excuse me.
Good.
Anyway, I ended up going back to school. Coach V, Coach Rocha, they all kind of, they keep me close. But at the end of the day, I have to go home. I have certain friends that I've been friends with for years that, you know, they're coming over. We have a pool in the backyard. I got friends coming over. We're hanging out. They've got to go home. And I'm just kind of wandering through the house one day in the kitchen, and I'm going to say anxiety, but I'm lost.
Yeah.
Like, I'm lost. I'm trying to find something, and I'm going through everything. I know I'm hungry. I know I need to eat something. I've been eating like a bird for the last several days. I'm hungry. I'm depressed. I'm pissed. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm 12 years old. I want to kill this dude that killed my dad. Like, just sitting there, and I open up that one cabinet, and there's all the liquor. I'm like, you know what? Nobody's here. Let's give this a try. And after that, I pretty much, over the next little bit, I probably cleared out my parents' liquor stash in a matter of no time. My grandfather being an oil field man, you know what the Christmas gifts are. He's got bottles upon bottles upon bottles, half gallons of Crown Royal, Jack Daniels all over the place. So I'm going out there, staying the night, loading up my backpack, coming back home.
And nobody knows.
Nobody knows. So I've got the alcohol, I've got all of that, and it's not that it's a solution, it numbs me. I can drink and I can go to sleep. I can drink and not cry. A song could come on the radio and I could cry. And it's like you're thinking, and then it comes, and I don't know what my grandparents and everybody were thinking, but they thought they were doing me a favor going to pick my father's casket. They're like, would you like to come with us? And at first I'm like, yes. And then we get to the funeral home and we're picking out a casket, and they're like, wouldn't he like this one? I'm thinking to myself, God, what kind of question is that? Wouldn't he like this one? I'm like, I don't think he'd like any of them, is what I told him. I was like, I don't think he even wants to be in one. You know what I mean? Like, not just throw him in the ground, but like, he's 39 years old.
Yeah.
you know, like, and mom's in the hospital. And I remember walking into the hospital the next day. My mom's sitting in there, her knees, she tore her ACL, her meniscus, broke her pelvis in several places. She has steel plates in her wrist where it crushed her wrist. She was sitting sideways in the back seat with her legs across my dad's lap. And when they impacted, she went completely sideways into the driver's side seat. And that's when it broke her pelvis, twisted her knee up, shattered this wrist. She was trying to catch herself or something, ended up snapping that. And I remember she's got all of her friends in there, and she's asking, she's like, she knows Alan's okay, but nobody will tell her about my dad.
And Alan's your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember she's like, can anybody tell me how Alan is? And I walked in, and I was like, Dad's dead. So you're 12 years old, and you're telling your mom that her husband's dead because none of her friends really knew how to tell her. And it's just, like, I remember the scream. Like, you're like, man, you know? And they end up going to the funeral. Ambulance takes them. We have the funeral, the service, and then the ambulance takes them back. I think they came to the house, if I remember correctly. I think that it was set up to where we had care for them to be able to come home, visit a couple of people, and then go back to the hospital. But I remember thinking, man, when we at the funeral, I'm like, is this thing ever going to end? I don't know if it still is. I know, but at the date and time that it was one of the largest funerals in Alice, Texas history. There were people, biggest church, the Methodist church there, biggest church there. People in every pew, people standing up, people in the back standing up, and people down the sidewalk. Yeah. You know, my dad had no enemies. You know, he was just a good person. It's just one of those things, you know, you come out, I'm trying to make the best of school, but man, I think I was suspended that first year my dad was dead. I think I was suspended like 80 something days that year. Fighting. I fought all the time. Yeah. All the time. Didn't care. I just really didn't care. And I never got kicked out of sports because they had that little empathy for me. Mm-hmm. There's like, we know what's really wrong with Brandon. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I remember going to Mexico a couple of times with my mom and them, and when they weren't looking down there, I'd come back with so much liquor. I found ways to drink, and then I think when I was 14 or 15, my mom sent me to military school in San Marcos. Me and my brother went to military school, and we're supposed to go up there to do good. My cousins in college up there, I was sneaking out. I got tattoos when I was in military school at 14 years old with military discounts because I go in there in my BDUs. They said, U.S. Let my ID on base. I'm 14. They don't care. I mean, realistically, they didn't care. It sounded good. It looked good. I got the military discount. I got some piercings and some tattoos while I was there. I also got into acid and cocaine and everything else.
How old were you when you tried coke?
Probably 14. Okay. I think I did acid before I did coke, though. Okay. 14. We were smoking weed all the time up there, smoking cigarettes, drinking, leaving. You had everybody from 14 to 18 there. Mm-hmm. So it was really just a big party. I ended up ultimately getting kicked out. They tried everything with me. I got sent to this thing called Camp Motivation more times than I could count. And Colonel Mooney would call my mom and be like, we don't know what to do with him. And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, we will run him 8 miles in the morning and he beats us. He beats us back to the school. They run me through the woods and everything, just trying. And I would tease them and run and just burn their ass every time. I would toy with them while we were out there. I'd be like, come on, Colonel Mooney, are we going to run or walk today? We running or walking? I've always been a little arrogant. I can't help it. It's one of my traits that I know, though. So I come back. move back. We go back to Alice. By this time, I've already tasted the cocaine. I know what it is. I like it. I like it. So my brother, when I get kicked out, he finishes that semester. He comes back. My mom's like, well, if one of y'all aren't going, then both of y'all aren't going up there. This place is like $30,000 a semester.
Wow.
And she didn't send us up there to kind of get rid of us. She sent us up there, man, because she didn't know what to do. She'd been with my dad since she was 16. My grandparents signed, or 15 or 16. My grandparents signed for her to get married when she was 17. My dad was a couple years older than her. I think he was 5 years older than her. And we were all just trying to learn how to live life. We were all just trying to be able to smile again, be able to interact with people again, and be able to learn how to have a good time again. And I have the best mother in the world. I really do. Nothing that I've done is on her. No trouble that I've been in is on her. I listened to the podcast I did when we went up to Dallas. And that's the first time I listened to it, but I listened to it with her. And I'd listen to bits and pieces, but after talking to you one day and you're like, man, I really don't like I know my story. And to actually have to hear it is still one of those things. It's like, I think it's easier to talk about than it is to hear.
Because
it's just another slap in the face.
Yeah.
To me, it's another slap in the face of like, what was I doing?
let me say something, because I'm sure you understand. We compartmentalize a lot. And we're really good at it. I'm sure you're the same way. When I hear my story, it's overwhelming when I hear it, but I don't think of it. It's like a different life. It's like it didn't happen until I hear it in order. Did that happen with you?
Man, I've done some bad things in my life.
Yeah.
And to have to sit there and then actually put a title on like how selfish, how self-centered, how egotistical, and how wrong I was in so many aspects. And I remember doing these things, thinking to myself like, man, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough thing to listen to. And I have a nephew, Riley, who my brother really tried to be a father, and due to the girl that he had Riley with, there was a lot of not letting him have her on the dates and stuff. And in all honesty, my brother gave up and quit fighting. So Riley then went on to stayed living with his mom and his stepdad, and he went through a lot of abuse. A lot of physical abuse, a lot of mental abuse, a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of downbeating and stuff like that. But me and him have always had a special bond. And it's like yesterday I was helping him change brakes and stuff on his car, and he's worked for me on and off. And he got in trouble. He got in a lot of trouble. He got a lot of trouble trying to do the things that I did. We'll touch on that, but he ends up with 2 first-degree felonies at 17 years old. Bunch of cartridges, mushrooms, stuff like that. And me and Cherie had gone to church, and I haven't talked to him yet while he's in jail, and I don't know the extent yet.
Now, when is this? How recent is this?
What is that, 2 years ago? About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there, and we're at CBC, and my phone rings, and I see what it is, and I with services going, I answer it, I take off outside, and just cried, because it was a whole flood of emotions. It was like, why didn't you listen to me? I feed into your head as much as I can all the things I used to do. They're not cool, they're not worth it, and they don't pay. And then the biggest one hit me, and I knew how my mom felt. and I knew how Tommy felt, my stepdad, and I'm just like, man, like what, like that's what hurt. I finally had a conception of what I had done to my families all these years.
Yep.
And it sucked. It sucked. So coming down the line.
Have you at this point been arrested at all after military school?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay. And you're out of military school now?
We got arrested while I was in military school.
Okay.
Came home for a weekend. We come home for a weekend. It's right after the holidays, so we still have a bunch of fireworks.
And you're how old?
Maybe 14.
Okay.
And there had been a shooting in the Walmart parking lot. One guy confronts another guy that his wife's been cheating on him with. Other one pulls out a gun, shoots him, middle of the parking lot. Cop kills the guy that shoots him. Me and my brother come home and think that this is going to be a blast if we take a roll of black cats, roll through the Walmart parking lot, and toss these suckers in the back of a truck while everybody's out there. So that's what we do. We go around. Man, people scrambling everywhere. They're scrambling under cars, everything. It's Officer Hill's first day back on duty. Where is he at? The Walmart parking lot.
This is a small town.
Yes, Alice, Texas.
Yeah.
He's back in the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
The high-speed chase is on.
Yeah.
We're not stopping.
Yeah.
The cops literally go to my mom's house and tell her, look, the boys are up to some trouble. It's nothing major. If you can find them first, we'll let you take them home. We'll deal with this later. So she jumps out, and runs in her car, gets in her car, shoots down the street. She's going to pick up her friend. They're going to come looking for us. Well, as soon as she picks up her friend and goes to make the right, there are cop lights everywhere. We're surrounded. First high-speed chase, 14 years old, not the last one.
Yeah.
Anyway, my mom hops out of the car. Cops already have me in the back of the car. I'm 14 years old. And I'm like, y'all are not letting me go with her. Look at her. She's mad. Send me wherever but home. At this point, I'll take whatever. My mom's 5'4", 5'5", and a little fireball.
Yeah.
So we end up doing that. We go back. We get sent back to military school. She tells us she's never coming to get us again. All right. So we've done made our bed. We're going to sleep in it. And of course, about a month later, she's up there to pick us up.
Yeah.
So she goes, I think she went to Cancun. We were home for like a week that time. She had already had a Cancun trip plate. She goes to Cancun. So what do me and my brother do? We load up all the friends. We get the ropes, team roping. We get some baseball bats. We go roping mailboxes and playing mailbox baseball. Once again, I'm right back in jail. We get caught. We're so stupid. We go up and down the same road for an hour.
Yep.
Taking every mailbox out.
Yep.
Every mailbox on the road is gone.
Yeah.
One of those things, I think a couple of weeks after that, I got kicked out of military school. I'm back. I get busted with some alcohol and some cigarettes, tobacco, no big deal. I'm back in jail. They send me up to where Stephenville. I think not Stephenville. It's right over on the other side of Cuero. There's the Smith unit, Stevenson unit for the Scared Straight program. My probation officer's like, this will work great for him. We'll send him to a TCJ unit and have him working the hose squad all day long. I think I'm the only person that didn't pass out there. And I'm like, that wasn't that bad, you know. Remember, there was a guy in there named Les, big dude, that I talked to for a while I was in there. And I remember thinking, this guy's nice. Prison ain't that bad. You know, probably end up visiting here one day. Little did I know I'd do over 14 years in prison. By that time, come out, I ended up going to California. When I'm 18, my parents take my youngest brother, Brian, to Florida to Disney World. And I turned the house into Disney World. I think at one time the cops counted over 100 people in the hot pool when they showed up at one of the parties.
Let me ask you this. So did she have plenty of money from an insurance or family?
My dad had done well for herself. Of course, there were some insurance things. There was a couple million here, a couple million there, this and that. I remember my nephew had gone off one day, and I knew what he was in his feelings about. He's got some emotional issues over the way that he was treated.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there trying to explain to him that life is life. And as bad as things suck, there's nothing that you can do about them. They've already been dealt. It's what do you do after them?
Yeah.
What do you do after them? And I said it to him like it was easy, because I think he had been rude to my mom, and my mom called me. We live out on a piece of property in Fredericksburg, and in 2018 I built a house attached to my parents' house, and it's a 1,500 square foot house with a storage in between, a door that will go straight through from my parents' house into a 7x30 storage into a 1,500 square foot house. And that's where me and my wife live. And my mom calls me. My nephew lives with them. He's been with them for 4 or 5 years at this time. And we're all kind of co-parenting. All of us. Trying to let mom play grandma and not have to be the parent and the grandma, because she's gotten custody of my nephew. And she calls me and she's like, this little shit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, where's he at? She's like, he's in the back barn. She's like, he's in the little barn. So I open the barn door, storm out of bed, rip open the barn door. He's sitting there hitting a bong. And I grab the bong, I smash the bong. There's paraphernalia all in there. I'm breaking everything. He's like, that's not mine. I said, tell him to come get it then. Like, they can come pick up the pieces. He tries to storm out, and he says something like, I'll just kill myself. And I grab him and turn him into a pretzel, and just probably a little bit overkill, and then drag him in the house and set him down and have a talk with him. Not yell at him, have a talk with him about, like, I understand. You have the privilege of still having your father to build a relationship on. I don't. Yeah. That's been dead and gone for decades. You know, and I'm trying to explain to him, and we get into the point to where we're talking about, like, I know what it is to feel alone, and my mom's sitting in there. I'm like, we were all doing the best we could. She was trying to learn how to live life again. We were trying to learn how to live life again. And we were giving debit cards, checkbooks, and cash. And I had a Camaro Super Sport, a lifted truck, and a Harley Davidson when I was 16. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, this will make Brandon okay. Now, the Harley was originally my mom's, but due to the knee surgeries and stuff, she couldn't ride that. So she ended up getting an ultra classic trike. And I kept the little Sportsters that she had tricked out, lowered the whole 9 yards. And that's how me and my stepdad started bonding. My stepdad came around when I was about 16, about 4 years later. Great dude. I used to not think that, but when I think of everything that I've done to this man and to my mom and everything else, and he still has my back, and it's an absolute pleasure to get to live out there on the same property and have dinners and have conversations, and my mom and my wife get along fabulously, man. It's like a blessing. That I do think some days that my wife does love my mom does love my wife more than me, though, and I'm a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie. But it's
Let me ask you this.
yes, sir.
How, so we've kind of got through your high school years.
Yes.
Where does the real trouble start happening? And give me some highlights of what happened.
Oh man. So I get pretty big into the drug scene.
What does that mean?
I started doing a lot of drugs.
Okay. What's a lot?
10, 15,000 a week profit.
Okay. Are you selling weed? You selling coke? You selling it all?
I'm selling meth. I'm selling heroin.
And you're how old at this point?
In my 20s.
Right.
In my 20s. I've been to the rehabs, left the rehabs. My parents are relocated. I go right back to where I'm from.
Yeah.
Because it's where I'm just not feeling Fredericksburg. Nobody likes me up there because I'm always drunk. And I'm.
This is in Fredericksburg?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm always drunk. Stepdad, nobody wants me around because I'm just an alcoholic. So I take off. I'm in San Antonio. I'm in Corpus. I'm catching charges left and right. Go to prison. Shitload of charges on that one.
And you're in prison how long the first time?
5 on 5.
10 years.
Yeah. No, 8 years the first time.
Okay.
8 years the first time. Then I do a little over 3 years. And then I do another stint a little over 3 years.
Okay.
And these are everything from burglaries to robberies to fucking drug charges to I've got 5 DWIs to I've got assault cases. You name it, I've got it. I've got everything, but probably I don't have any of those cases where I'm not allowed to step in the rooms. You know what I mean? I'm gang affiliated.
What do you mean? Yes.
I'm gang affiliated.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. So Aryan Circle or Aryan Brotherhood? Okay.
Aryan Brotherhood.
Why did you choose? And tell me, I want to know the difference between the Brotherhood and the Circle.
To me, we were more disciplined till I found out we weren't.
Meaning what?
We have more structure. We were a little bit more fierce. I really felt like Circle was just a bunch of white trash, motherfucking throwbacks, really, at the end of the day. But now that I look back at it, we were all trash.
Yeah.
We were all trash. If you think that you're the dominant race and nobody competes with you, you're narrow-minded.
Yeah.
If you can't see bad in every color and you can't see good in every color, then you're not looking.
Yeah.
You're judging. You're following somebody else's lead. You're following somebody else's word. What kind of man are you? You're not a man. You're a puppet. You're a puppet. I've been out and away from it for a while. I've been asked what would happen. I don't care, man. What are they gonna do? They're so twisted. What are they gonna do? I've got guns and they got guns. Mm-hmm. It's never gonna come to that, or it might come to that. That's a part of my life that I haven't buried, but I proudly walked away from.
Yeah.
I proudly walked away from. Nobody tells me what to do anymore. I have customers that I work for. They make suggestions on what they want and what they do, but nobody verbally commands me anymore like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a puppet anymore. I'm not on a string. I'm not any of that. And I moved up through the ranks. I did some stuff that I shouldn't have done.
Anything you can talk about?
I don't want to.
Understood.
I've been in a lot of trouble behind them.
Yeah.
I've been accused of a lot of stuff behind them. It's not a part of my life that I bury because it's like the promise to say we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it.
Say that one more time.
We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it.
And that came from where?
That's from AA, page 88.
Okay.
And it's one of those things that you understand, like, if I shut the door on my past, how can I teach? I can't teach what I close off. Everything that I've been through in my life has built me into who I am. I've had customers ask me, is there anything that you would change about your life? And I always tell them, absolutely not. They said, you go back to prison? I said, to become who I am today? Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to change everything because I don't think that I'd be able to hold the stature that I have, be given the respect that I have, and have the friends that I have, and have the life choices and the opportunities had I not been through the struggle. Yeah. I remember one of my charges, burglary of a habitation and burglary of a building. I robbed my parents. I knew they were out of town. I was shit on my luck. I'm doing the suburban camping, hopping from house to house to house, trying to find a place to sleep here. I have a truck. I have some tools. I'm still doing carpentry work. I'm hopping around, just kind of doing everything that I can to stay high.
Yeah.
To just keep the wheels turning. And it's no life. It's no life.
Well, let's talk about life now. I want to back up on one thing though. I want to know, Yeah, I've read the story on the San Antonio PD, and I'd love to hear how that happened, what happened.
So, the 6th of July 2020, I'm at my end. I'm literally at my end. I've already called some rehabs. I'm checking in, like I'm ready to go. But I have heroin, I have meth, I have stuff that I just need to get rid of. And I make a call, and I'm like,
You have a fair amount of weight of each that you're just trying
yeah,
to
like
sell?
about
Is that what
half a
you're telling
pound
me?
each.
Okay.
About a half a pound of heroin, half a pound of meth.
Okay.
And I make a call, and I'm gonna drop it off, and I don't even care. I mean, y'all give me $100 for it. I just need
Really?
I
You were
did-
just ready to get out.
I just need to get to where I'm going.
Okay.
That's it. It's ran its course. In May of 2020, all of our houses have been raided. When I say all of our houses, we're talking 5 different houses, all hit at the same time.
Yep.
I don't say I was smart, I was lucky. I didn't have anything at my house. My 2 fall partners didn't have anything at their house. And then there was another house where everything was, and a person had personal mail and stuff there. After he'd been fighting with his girlfriend, he went and stayed at our little hideout house for a few days, and was taking personal belongings over there. And when they kicked in the doors and they ripped off the doors and everything else and blew flashbangs, you name it,
Yep.
we got hit with everything.
Yep.
And as soon as they did, I roll over on my stomach and put my hands behind my back because I know I'm going to jail. They had to leave me there. There was nothing in my house.
Okay.
Not a thing. The only reason my one friend went to jail was because when they came over the radio, we got Dada's such and such is mail here at this house. It tied him to the house. So he goes to jail. We bond him out that night. A couple $100,000 in bond. We spring him out. We got a couple ounces of heroin there. We got a couple ounces of meth. We've got Glocks that are automatic, have been modified to fully automatic. We have Gucci wrapped Glocks. We've got American flag dipped ARs. We've got AKs, Dracos, just stacks of cash, $146,000 in cash that they found.
Okay.
And we were doing the most in our opinion. And anyway, so we get shut down over here. I hit the streets. I meet up with some people. I get back into the business, blah, blah, blah. And end up, enough is enough, dude. I feel like I'm chasing my tail every day. We're not getting anywhere. I'm tired of sticking needles in my arm. I had a counselor refer to something. She's told me that the way that she had been mentally and verbally abused, that's how she related to me, as a drug addict. And as soon as she said that, I go back to a time right before this high-speed chase. I'm rolling down I-10 in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've got a syringe sitting in my center console. My wife's heard this 100 times. It's like it's one of those scarring moments. I'm looking at this syringe and I feel horrible. And I know on the other end of that syringe is relief. But I'm tired of shoving needles in my arm. Mm-hmm. When I say I'm tired, I'm done, dude. Like I just.
How many years of this now?
A couple. This is a couple back on, and but this is my whole life. I've always, when I relapse and I go out, or when I'm out, or when I'm not in prison, I'm sticking needles in my arm.
Yep.
It always starts with a drink, and I can drink 1 or 2 times, and then by that second or third time, I'm looking for the dope, man. I'm finding dope, and I might smoke meth, snort meth 1 or 2 times, and then I'm looking for a needle.
Yeah,
is what I do, because I feel like, it's stupid as it sounds, I feel like I'm wasting it.
Brandon, let's back up, and I want you to tell me just briefly what happened with the San Antonio PD and the chase, the big one.
Okay, so I go down off of Military Drive on the south side. I'm staying off of Hubner and I-10, and I go off of there, so I'm getting rid of everything, all of that we've touched. I pulled into the parking lot, And as soon as I pull in, I go to step out, and I hear nothing but car doors open around me. And all I start hearing is, Brandon Crozier, get on the fucking ground, get on the ground, get on the ground. I'm shit, no, I ain't getting on nothing. I hop back in my car. As I hop back in my car, a cop comes out of I don't know where and grabs my car door and tries to pull it open. Me and this cop are fighting for this door. And we're going back.
And you're, what kind of vehicle are you in?
I'm in a 2018 Infiniti Q60S.
Okay.
So we're fighting for this thing. And I'm thinking like, fuck. So I act like I'm fixing to pull it. And when I pull, he rips back. I turn sideways and I kick the door open on him. Smack him in the face, roll him off the car, hits another car. Cop car pulls into me right as I'm behind me as I'm shutting the door. I put my car in reverse and floor it, pushing him back.
The car?
You push the cop car. Hell yeah, I'm stopping.
Yep.
I'm going to prison for life.
Yeah.
If I get caught. So I back up. I spin around. I start heading towards what I think is the exit. It's not. It's a dead end. I'm not familiar with where I'm at. That's like mistake number one.
Yeah.
I don't have a follower. I don't have anybody to run decoy. I never ran like that. I always had a decoy. I always had somebody if the cops got behind me was willing to do something stupid, whether it was wreck their car or just take off and act like they didn't see the cop so the cop would pull off after them. So I get down there, I'm like, fuck. Spin my car around. As I'm coming out, 2 cop cars are closing in. I just rip off their front bumpers. I don't care. I'm not stopping. Rip off their front bumpers, hit military, shoot down military. I've got a whole fucking squad behind me now. Take off, come back around on a U-turn, and head out towards Somerset the back way. So as I'm coming out, I've got cops everywhere. I've got a helicopter over the top of me, and I'm going. My car flies. I have all kinds of modifications on it. It's moving. I come across the intersection, and I hit this intersection about 130 miles an hour. I literally go airborne. I hit, I come back up, I hit again, and I'm taking off. I'm dusting these fools. My car is starting to run fucked up. I'm like, what's wrong here? I broke something on the drivetrain. I'm at the San Antonio River out there. I think it's the San Antonio River out there. Okay. It's a river.
Okay.
I pull over, grab everything I have, start throwing it.
How much did you have?
4 to 8 ounces.
48?
4 to 8 ounces.
4 to 8 ounces.
About a little over a pound of fucking narcotics.
Yeah.
IDs, credit cards, guns.
Yep.
Everything's got to go.
Yep.
I'm throwing stuff. I'm throwing cards going down. I'm just tossing shit out the window.
And they're seeing all of this.
The
kilos over you.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, they're seeing it. So I take off and I come up into Somerset. I go through, I pass that Love's truck stop and everything out there, shoot under the bridge. I'm coming into Somerset. As I'm coming into Somerset, the Somerset PD is sitting right there where you can take a right or you can go right, stay straight and stay on 1604. I see him, he has the spike strips in his hand. So I fade over to the left like I'm fixing to just go straight and try to go around. He runs out and throws them. When he does, I slam right and shoot into Somerset. Okay. And I've called my friend on the way, Stuart Terrell. I've called Stuart and I'm like, hey, what's your house like? He's like, I was like, do you have any company? He's like, no. I was like, man, I got a question. He's like, what's up? It's like 3 a.m. He's like, are you all right? I'm like, not really. He's like, what's going on? I said, I'm in a fucking high-speed chase right now. And I said, if I stop out here, they're going to kill me. I was like, can I bring this high-speed chase to your house? He's like, don't bring it to the front, bring it to the back. So I shoot around. I'm hitting the alleys. I'm trying to get around. I cut through, rip the mirrors off my car, split in between trees, get to where I can see his house. I bail out the car. I hop a fence, hit my knees, put my hands behind my back. I'm like this. They beat the fucking shit out of me. When I say they beat the shit out of me, I remember I had a cop. He was on my back and he had my forehead like this. And he's got me pulled back. And the other cops are not punching me, but they're taking their palms and just working me over. They hog tie me up. Stuart comes out the back and yells at him. He's like, hey. Like, he's a big old dude. He's 6'7", 340. Big old, this country white boy. And he comes out the back. He's yelling at them. They stop. They handcuff me. They throw me over the privacy fence, land face first. My mugshots look great. They drag me to the car, and I'm sitting in the front of the car, and Lieutenant's plugging in all the body cams. And he's like, y'all beat the shit out of him. And I'm like, they sure did, Lou. This is right after George Floyd. All
Yep,
right. This
yep.
is just a little bit after George Floyd. So I'm
Yep.
like, all right, yeah, they beat me up, Lou. I was like, hey, Lieutenant, man, I tell you what, just take me down the road, throw me out, tell him a car hit me, call an ambulance, we'll be good. He's like, fuck no, you're going to jail, bro. I'm like, damn, I have a blue warrant for parole at this point. I'd caught a gun charge about 2 months prior, about a month prior, Walgreens downtown, going from game room to game room, fell asleep, somebody was with me, went into Walgreens, they came back out, I'd locked the doors, they couldn't get in, they're beating on the window. Somebody sees this, they call the cops. Cops roll up. I've got a 45 and a 9mm on me. End up going to jail. Don't get felon in possession of a firearm because.
This is, hold on now, are we still at the?
No, this is prior. So
Okay.
like I have these
Understood.
warrants too for
Of
this.
course.
So I didn't catch felon in possession of a firearm. I got unlawfully concealing a weapon because a lot of people don't know when there's looting and rioting going on in the streets or we're in the middle of a pandemic, every American is by law allowed to arm themselves to protect themselves, whether you're a felon or not. So anyway, parole still ain't feeling it. I got a pistol on me. Doesn't matter. So anyway, I end up getting put in the back of the cop car. And I remember I'm sitting in the back of the cop car, and really I have a sense of relief. Like it's over. I don't know how long.
Like it's all over.
It's over. It's over. I know I'm going to prison for probably 20 plus years.
And you've been in prison how long at this point?
I've already done 14.
Okay. And this is what year? 2020?
2020.
All right.
7/6 of 20. My sober date is 7/7 of 20.
Okay.
So I'm sitting in the back of the cop car, and I remember this cop yanks the car door open, and he's got this fear in his eyes, and he's angry, and he's scared, and he's fucking mad as well, angry and mad. He's not feeling me, and he said, "You could have killed me," and I realized who it is. It's the cop that I was fighting with for my door. If he wouldn't have moved his leg, like right at the perfect second when I was backing up, I would have ran over his leg. I would have.
When he said you could have killed me, what did that make you feel like?
It didn't make me feel like shit until he told me he had a wife and kids, and then I felt that big. I was like, man, that's like I knew how destructive I was, and I don't know, it's the worst feeling in the world. I know what it is to lose your father.
Yeah.
I know what it is to lose your father. I know how those kids would have felt. And if I would have done that, I don't know. I don't like to play on what if. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. It's I don't know, it is what it is, you know. I get put in county jail. I'm in county jail. I have no bonds, and the bonds that I have bonds on are $500,000 and $1 million. I know on this one right here, it says, what does it say? Brandon Crozier, 37, was arrested Thursday, charged with aggravated assault on police officers. And I know it goes on and on. It talks about, it's one of the slideshows that I sent to
Mason.
the 1090.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck. So I call my lawyer after about a week of sleeping. I finally call my lawyer. I call my mom. My mom and them already know. I've been blasted on the news and everything else.
This is made national news, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It ran on the bottom of the Fox News, like Fox News with like Hannity in them. Yeah. It was on the bottom rail. Yeah. San Antonio. They had me aggravated assault on police officers, attempted murder on police officers. They have my charges stacked. The reason we were able to get what we got and me not face all those charges is they beat my ass. And I'm not saying that I didn't deserve it, because I got what I had coming. Yeah. I got what I had coming. Yeah. I wasn't victimized. I'm not a person that the cops just beat the shit out of. I pretty much...
You earned it.
I ran their adrenaline up to where I'm not that type of dude, man. You get what you get in life because you dealt the cards. Yeah. And that's just how I still feel about it. No remorse. I can't never mind. No remorse.
So how do you get out of this? At what point do you get out of this?
So I called my lawyer, and my lawyer's a very dear friend of mine. Very, very good friend of mine. They were at my wedding. They his daughter used to be my stepdaughter.
Okay.
We are both married to the same woman. We have developed a great friendship out of this. I call him and he's quiet, and I know it's bad. Because me and Charles are good friends and we'll make the best out of any situation. And he said, Brandon, I don't even know what I can do. I was like, fuck. He's like, they're probably going to give you life. And I was like, all right, that fucking sucks. I've got 19 felony convictions already.
Yep.
You know what I mean? My last time I went on 8 felony convictions, 5 8s, 4 2s, 2 1s, down in Nueces County. They wanted to give me 50 years. I threw the drug addict card out there. And
So what did they offer you on this?
I was actually sentenced to 20, stacked on 20, stacked on 20, stacked on 3, which means I would have had to do a 20-year sentence completely to start my other 20-year sentence, to start my other 20-year sentence. And they put the 3 at the top because I would have done 17 months on a 3, which would have been 61 and almost a half years. I was 37 years old at the time. I'd have been 98 years old when I came up for parole. My lawyer has known me for quite a while. He's more my friend than my lawyer. I just always say my lawyer because that's who I call when I get a speeding ticket or I have a question or something happens and I need advice for a friend, a coworker, anybody. And he does the legal side of drug court in Bexar County. He does all their paperwork for him. It's kind of like his service to the community there. He makes sure that everybody signing up for drug court knows what they're getting into and this and that. And he sells my story to them of I'm a good person. Had a lot of trials and tribulations in life. I've had a lot of ups and downs in life. And he thinks I'd be the perfect candidate. And I'm like, all right.
Candidate for what?
Drug court.
Which means what?
Did I go into this very intensive court-based outpatient, inpatient kind of style rehab? I go to court twice a week for the first several months. And it's just, it's not good. It's good, but the only thing, I'm going to go back about 2 months before I get sentenced to this. I'm still in county jail. This is an actual 100% pivotal moment in my life that tells me I'm never going to stick a needle in my arm. I'm never going to drink. I'm never going to do anything like that again. I call home and I'm immediately going off about a girl that I had been dating, had been engaged to, that was with me in the high-speed chase, that was with me through the dope game, that was with me through everything. I call my mom and I'm rah, 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 this and that. And here I am. I'm being an entitled little prick that every situation that I am setting in right now is the demise of my own actions. Mm-hmm. And she keeps trying to talk and I'm talking over her and she literally tells me, will you shut the fuck up? I'm like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, Brandon. I was like, what's up, Mom? And I hear her voice break a little bit. And I was like, oh, fuck, what happened? I'm thinking my stepdad. I'm thinking of something like that. She said, your brother killed himself last night. Like, so, he played football, just a bunch of concussions. He went to college, played some football, had some more concussions. He went to the military. Concussions, got kicked out of the military, bad drinking problem, came down, got drunk, didn't understand that his girlfriend was telling him that she was leaving for the night because he was drunk. And he was like, please don't leave. And she's like, no, she's like, I can't deal with this tonight, blah, blah, blah. He's belligerently drunk, doesn't understand, puts a 45 to his head and pulls the trigger right in front of her. Yeah. So at this point, when she tells me this, it's a flood of emotions. First of all, I'm sitting in a fucking jail cell.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that I can do. And the only thing that I know I can do is never do anything to cause this hurt on my parents. I'll never be the phone call that they get that says you have another son dead because he chose to drink or he shot up some dope that was laced with fentanyl or he did something. I'm not going to be that person. I know at this point in my life, Some say it's a spiritual awakening, it's your aha, it's your epiphany. It's the moment that it's the moment in my life I needed. That bit of grief saved my life. It literally changed who I am as a person. I say this all the time. To be able to sit on something like this is an honor. It's a privilege. This is what I live for. To be able to tell somebody that it's going to be okay, even when you don't think it is. I knew when my mom told me that on the phone, I knew everything was going to be okay. I knew that everything that had happened to me and everything that had gone off, and I knew my brother killing himself in some sense was a learning lesson for me. It was how good do you really have it? Because I have it pretty fucking good. And I've always had it pretty good. I just didn't know it. So, bunch of crazy offers. 80-year offers. 75-year offers to go to prison. Go in, get sentenced 63 years. And I'm on Zoom, because this is during COVID, and I'm looking at my lawyer like, this is not what we talked about, is what I'm thinking. But he told me before, he said, look, he said, you're not going to like everything you hear, just shut up. So we come off and we go back on screen, and the judge tells me, he said, I'm going to give you a referral to drug court. He said, and I'll probably see you back in here in a month or two. And if I see you back in here, you're going to prison for 63 years. And I'm looking at my lawyer on the screen, and I'm trying not to cry, because I know that everything to a God I understood at the time, who's definitely not the God that I know now, had led up to this. So I get sent to lifetime recovery. That is what it is, man. A horrible experience out there. Ended up almost going to prison off of that place. Judge Glenn did his own research. Judge Glenn talked to some people and reinstated me and sent me to a sober house. And I had met Chris Jasko, who was my sponsor.
Today, still.
He's been my sponsor he's given me every chip. I'll get five chips this July, 5 years. And I met Chris there. And once I got out and got going, I asked him to be my sponsor. And he asked me, he said, why do you want me to be your sponsor? And a lot of people want him to be a sponsor because he had a nice truck. He's a big dude. He's got a nice house. Got successful businesses. To me, has his shit together. But it wasn't even that, man. It was he was happy. And I didn't know how to be happy. And here's this big ass white dude that came from the streets of Long Beach, sleeping in a station wagon, came to Texas with some Dickies on and a backpack, went through rehab and has built all this, and he was happy. And I wanted to know how to be happy. That was my main concern. I wanted to know how to be present in life. You know, it's like I tell people all the time, and I stole this from my sponsor, and I ask people, what is the mission in Alcoholics Anonymous? And they'll say, oh, well, you gotta... No, man, it's pain. Nobody walked through those doors because they felt good. Everybody walked through those doors because they hurt so bad they didn't know how to feel. They were either numb, or they were just hurting so fucking bad that they walked in this room looking for a sense of relief. And I listened. I took direction, and I literally called him about everything. When I started dating who my wife is now, we had a lot of conversations, and he's like, don't let this play in the way of this. This is first. This is first. So me and Cherie start dating. I hop around, so pull me back if you think I need to be. We start dating. She's going to CBC church. She's always talking about it, blah, blah, blah. It's so great, it's so this. And I'm like, it's not my thing. I still have some resentments over the father. I do. I still like, man, I know God's real, but I don't want to believe God's real. I want to believe that God could have stopped everything. And that's not how I feel today. Towards the end, I'll tell you why I feel the way I feel about God and the relationship that I have with him today. So my wife, girlfriend at the time, she's asking me, she's like, you want to go with me? You want to go with me? And I think it was 9/11 of 2021. I walked into CBC Church. I'm sitting there, and of course it's 9/11. So they have all the trade centers up. They have all the firefighters sleeping in the church. They're flashing all these things. They're flashing people crying on this. They're flashing people crying here, crying there, smoke, debris. Nothing. We all know what it was. And at this point in my life, I realized how much grace God has shown me. Like, look at what I've done. I've been in the middle of the streets doing the grimiest shit that you could possibly do. I played with guns. I played with drugs. I played with people that I shouldn't have been playing with. I played with gang members, cartel members. I played with everything. I was right in the thick of it because people told me I couldn't be there. I made it a point to be in there. And I'm looking around and I'm like, dang, man, these people were literally going to work and they never went home. They walked away from their families that morning and said, I'll see you this evening. My family was just happy to hear from me once a week. Text message, hey, I'm good. And I don't know, it's what brought me back to church. It really is. It's what's like. And then listen to Pastor Ed up there and how sincere and just feeling accepted and not feeling like I was in a church to where I was judged or anything like that. And him, I think it was the second or third time I went there, he's talking about addiction up there. I'm like, wow, this dude does get us. You know what I mean? Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know, man. It definitely built my spiritual grounds.
Well, let's talk about where you are today, what you do today, and who you're serving today. And I noticed you're wearing a shirt that says "Survive and Thrive." So let's talk about it.
I threw it on for a reason. I was going through my little shirt collections today, and I was like, perfect.
Good.
Man, this is for anybody in addiction and alcoholism, anything like that. We're survivors. Some of the strongest men and women that you'll ever meet in your life are the people that have crawled through the sludges of the alcohol and the drugs and everything else and came out winning. Where am I at today? Like the book says, man, I try to practice these principles in all my affairs. I fall short some days, but I pick up better other days.
Do you still hit meetings consistently?
Not consistent. Not like I probably should, but I still talk to my sponsor every day, sometimes several times a day. 99.9% of the time, they're just conversations.
Who are some of the people that you helped get sober that's hard to believe?
Well, there's been the people that chased me for years, like the cops. I've helped a sheriff deputy stay on the right track. He's shut down his problems that he had. He battled with alcohol, who's now just a dear friend of mine. It's we talk every day. We talk about problems to each other, personal.
How does it feel to know that you're now friends with the guys that took you down?
It's like I told them one day, God put them in my life,
yeah,
so that they could help me, whether I seen it at that time or not. He's been playing chess with me his whole life.
yeah.
He's had a chessboard out in front of me, and we've been making strategic moves. All the pawns we eliminated. We got rid of the rooks and the knights and the castles. And as it stands now, it's the king and queen. And we play we play our life together, and we're strategic with everything. And he led me to where I could come back and help them. It was all part of his plan all along. I didn't used to see it that way. God molded me into the person I am built to be.
So let me ask you this. How grateful for her are you?
Extremely. Extremely. I tell people, because I go speak places, and they're like, oh my God, like, Brandon, that was great, and everybody's crying and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, my wife inspires me. more than I can ever say. I came from a privileged background, not to where we were just rolling in money, but I was privileged with love. I was privileged with compassion. She didn't know what that was. And she is the most positive, sweetest, most sincere person that you'll ever meet. She led me back to what I know now with God. She has my back regardless what's going on. Regardless whether I'm right or wrong, she'll stand beside me. To have that in my life is an honor. It is.
What do you do today? What do you do for a living today?
I build stuff.
Yeah, what stuff?
Man, I build houses, remodel houses. Me and a friend of mine, we got into building some homes for the J6 guys who were pardoned by Donald Trump. That is what it is. I wish everybody out there the best. I'm grateful that I had the relationships with the people that came to live there, and they do work for me right now. I just got one of them moved out of there into one of my buddy's rental properties. He still works for me. We're working on putting him in a car right now. He had a car there. Subsequently, that got taken away. Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't there. I only know hearsay of the story. So I won't speak ill on anybody. But it's a privilege, man. I think I said this before. Whenever you take your career and your passion of helping somebody and you can marry those two together, it's God's will, and it doesn't matter what the other people's true intentions are. You went in there and you got to do what you do and enjoy doing, and you got to help people and touch people, and that's awesome. To me, that's awesome. I think that's how I met you, actually, at the Aaron Tippin concert. I got called up on the stage to talk about some of the things that we were doing out there.
Yeah.
Which led
I'm going to tell you what happened that night. I don't know that you're familiar. So my buddy Clay Hollis, country music guy, he knows what I do. He knows he's been a big part of what I've got to be a part of for the last 11 years, and knew that I worked with patients that were terminal and disadvantaged kids. And he met Johnny Dutchover, highway patrolman, and he said, "Hey man," he said, "I'm going out to this highway patrolman's house to play a gig for his birthday." And he's got a special needs son.
Yeah, we did the work out there.
I know you did. And he said, "Would you go with me?" And I know it was because of Johnny's son.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. And so I go, and of course I meet Johnny, and then Johnny and I connect. And you may or may not know, but I wore a buckle. I wore a State Trooper Chad Walker belt buckle that I was given. I was asked by an auctioneer buddy of mine to bring some wounded veterans up to Ted Nugent's event in Waco, Texas. And Nugent was wanting to have some veterans there, and he was auctioning all of these, probably 20 guitars, 50 guns, 50 knives, 50 rifles, just over $1 million worth of stuff was sold. And I wore that buckle because that night, my friend Chad Walker, the state trooper, was killed on the side of the road in Mahia, Texas. And we didn't know it was him, but we knew the state trooper was shot because all of the security ran out of the event. And Nugent immediately grabbed 20 of his records. He told Rob Burley, the auctioneer, he said, "Go grab those 20 records." And he raised $22,000 right there, auctioned those off for whoever the widow was going to be. And it's a long story of what we got to do for a family, the reason I met Chad Walker, but Chad was the confidant for us to raise the money to put 2 kids whose parents were killed in an accident into a home. And through all of that, Chad Walker had the most beautiful buckle I'd ever seen. And I remember, I have a picture of it on my phone. And I was like, "Dude, where did you get this?" He said, I got this made at a penitentiary." And he said, "When we get done with this," he said, "you're going to get one made too." And then he was killed. Well, a buckle maker found out about that, and she made one for me.
Awesome.
And David Mills, who's I was working with, when we got those buckles, we were like, we got to give these to the family. So we had 6 more made, and we gave them to the family, and then we got ours. So I was wearing Chad's buckle.
Nice.
At Johnny's, and he was like, "Did you know Chad?" And I was like, "Very briefly." But we connected, and then he invited me to go to the Aaron Tippin show, and I
Nice.
was actually in the bathroom. When I came out, they were honoring you on stage, and all I heard was prison and employment. And I was like, I got to know what this guy's up to, and I didn't know a thing. And you had come walking up, and as everybody's shaking your hand, we were at a table, like this, and you walked right there, and I remember looking at you and said, you and I are going to talk in a minute.
Absolutely.
And then you came and got me, and that's how we met. And though you talk about the chess and how the pieces are put in our place, and how God puts people in our path, and they're everywhere. It's, are we going to do something about it? Are we going to introduce ourselves? Are we going to make a difference together? And that's what's starting between you and I now.
Absolutely. I ran the mentorship program for drug court for a minute, and I still swing in there, make an appearance here and there. I'm supposed to be their speaker at their next graduation and stuff like that. And it's, dude, my life is, I'm blown away by what my life is today. And it's another one I stole from my sponsor because it's true today. I would have sold myself short had I figured where I'd be. I would have never thought that God would have given me the gifts that He's given me. And it talks about the gifts in the program and the promises in AA and this and that. And I used to read them as cliches, and then I realized, man, these people wrote this stuff because it was really happening to them. People, like, to be present, and for family to call you and be like, hey, what are you up to? Are you coming over? Or like, hey, what are y'all up to? What are y'all doing this weekend? Or do y'all want to go here? That, man, it used to be like, oh, okay, Brendan, yeah, we're going to be in San Antonio, but we're busy, so we've got to get in and out. And yeah, I don't want to see me either. Believe me, I love y'all, but I don't want to see me either. I understand.
What is it like today for you when you get to impact somebody's life?
It's a privilege.
Through recovery.
It's a privilege. It's what I live for. Yeah. I love it. My wife will tell you, people call and they're like, I need to get here, here, and here. And it's like everything goes on hold. Or my wife's riding in the car with me. And I've got this rehab owner and this insurance person and this person on the phone, and I'm talking to this person, and we're making connections. And I'm like, man, I need to get him in somewhere right now.
How connected are you in the recovery?
Very connected.
What does that look like?
I can get you in any sober house, detox, or rehab within 4 to 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours. Like,
how many do you think you have accessible to you?
Around.
Good.
You're good.
Oh. Around San Antonio, I mean, several.
Everyone.
Both of us, because I know a lot of the people still like at Pay It Forward, Haven for Hope. I think in New Braunfels.
I hear a lot about Haven for Hope.
Haven for Hope. I can get you to Windmill. I can get you to La Hacienda. I can get you to Lifetime. I can get you to New Choices Recovery. I can get you to Invented Recovery. I can get you to Last Chance Recovery. I've got contacts at all of them. From Austin to Dallas to Fort Worth to Waco to Killeen to San Antonio, Kerrville, Starlight, and Fredericksburg, you name it. And I make it a point to where I call these people. A friend of mine's got a thing called Sober Wagon. They raise money. They do this. She lives actually right down the road. They fly out, pick people up, make sure they get to rehab. I can get you to places in California and Florida if you need to go there. If you're out of state, I'll find a place. I know somebody that knows somebody, and I'll be on the phone making connections. And I've got these people calling me back saying, hey, we just spoke to them. This is what's going on. This is how they feel. And I'm back on the phone with them. I'm like, man, you had no power when you called me.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you got ideas again. And that was my problem for years. I would go to prison, and I would think of a way of how I could do it better. And then I'd lose again.
Yeah.
I'd lose again. That's what I was telling my nephew. I was like, you got to realize these people train daily to catch us.
Yeah.
That's what they do for a living. They're good at their jobs.
Well, I knew when we met, and Mason, I knew whenever he was going to put you on the show that I was absolutely going to bring you here. So I want to wrap it up with this, man. I know I started with this, but I just want you to know that you're one of the most impactful guys I've ever met, and I want to continue working with you, and we will.
Absolutely.
It's a two-way street with me, man. You stay in touch with me, and I will always stay in touch with you.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything that I can do here for you or anyone else, you know I'm a phone call away.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you, Cherie, for bringing Cherie. And I can't wait to see what we get to do next.
She needs to be on here one day. She will when she's ready.
I'd love that.
She has a
Whenever
beautiful
she's
story.
ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Love you, bro.
Love you too. Ooh, good.